morning, students. In the last class, we have discussed about excretion in human beings. Excretion in human beings is carried out by the excretory system, which basically consists of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, a urinary bladder and a urethra. If kidneys are functioning normally, then the excretion process also is carried out normally. But the kidneys may get reduced from their function, or they may be getting impaired completely from their function if certain factors are going to take place on the person. Like if infection is occurring in kidneys, in the sugar patients, in diabetic patients especially, more bacteria will be present in the blood due to excessive sugar levels. So the infection, as the blood flows to the kidneys in order to carry the nitrogenous waste products, the bacteria also are carried, which leads to the infection of the kidneys. Infection of the kidneys will result in the impairment of the kidneys from their function. Injuries due to some pressures or accidents or some other problems by hitting or some other things, the kidneys may get injured. When they are injured, some part of it or total tissue of the kidney may not be able to function. That results in the impairment of the kidney from its function. Restricted blood flow. If an organ has to work properly, it needs energy. The energy is basically created within the cells by the supply of oxygen and food. Both the supply of oxygen and food is carried out by the flow of the blood. If blood flow is restricted, then the kidneys or whatever the organ it may be, they cannot generate good amount of energy. If energy is not generated, the function which the organ has to carry out cannot be performed properly. So, restricted blood flow to the kidneys can also reduce the function of the kidney, or sometimes it may completely impair the kidney from its function. So, the factors which reduce the kidneys from their function, or which may cause the kidneys to get impaired completely from their function, are infections, injuries and restricted blood flow. Right? If the activity of the kidneys is reduced, what will happen? If the activities of the kidneys is reduced, or if the kidneys stop functioning, what will happen? What is the function of kidneys? To get rid of the nitrogenous waste materials. If kidneys are not doing that one, what will happen? The nitrogenous waste materials get accumulated in the body. We already have discussed the nitrogenous waste materials are harmful if they are getting accumulated within the body itself. So they have to be removed out. If they are not removed out, then they get accumulated, which may even lead to death also. So, if the activities of kidneys is reduced, it results in the accumulation of poisonous waste materials in the body, which may lead to the death. Right. In the event of failure of the kidney from its function, how these wastes can be removed out? For that, earlier in the initial days when technology was not fully developed, there was no other alternative. Persons used to die, and the kidneys used to get failure from their function. Persons used to die. But after various technological developments, even in the biological field also, a device has been invented using which the waste materials from the blood can be filtered out, and the blood which is made free from nitrogenous waste materials is again pumped back into the body. That device, it is performing the same function like a natural kidney, but it is not natural kidney, it is man-made. So anything which is man-made, we call it as artificial. So artificial kidneys start getting utilized by the mankind in the event of failure of the kidneys from their function. Then what is an artificial kidney? An artificial kidney is a device to remove the nitrogenous waste from the blood by a process known as dialysis. You all might have heard about dialysis. And this dialysis, it is removing only the nitrogenous waste materials, not other things. Not everything, only nitrogenous waste materials. Only partial things, not everything from the blood. So something partially, we scientifically just call as dia, very less. The nitrogenous waste materials are present in very less quantity. So only those things, those less quantity of nitrogenous waste materials are removed. So it is called dialysis. Okay, partially removing. So from which substance these nitrogenous waste materials are removed, or on which substance this dialysis is taking place? On blood. So something which is related to blood, we call it as hemo, because the blood contains hemoglobin in it. So totally this process is known as hemodialysis. Using an artificial kidney, by means of dialysis process, the nitrogenous waste materials can be removed out from the person's body if the kidneys get failure from their function. Right? So what this artificial kidney contains? What is this artificial kidney? We have already known. It is a device which is used to remove the nitrogenous waste material from the blood. Okay. By means of dialysis process. But what it actually contains? Artificial kidney contains many number of tubes, many tubes, and each tube contains a semi-permeable lining. We already have learned about semi-permeability in class 9 while learning the properties of plasma membrane or cell membrane. Cell membrane is having semi-permeability. Semi-permeability means half, able to permit only half or some materials through it, to pass through it. What is semi-permeability? Able to permit only some materials to pass through it. So these tubes are having which lining? Semi-permeable lining. That indicates that some materials are allowed to pass through it. Some materials are allowed to pass through it. Okay. So the artificial kidney, it contains many tubes with semi-permeable lining. And where all these tubes are kept in, are suspended in, all these tubes are suspended in dialyzing fluid. Means the fluid into which the nitrogenous waste materials are passed out from the blood. Okay. So all these tubes which are having semi-permeable lining are suspended in a tank which is filled with dialyzing fluid. So in an artificial kidney, what are present? Many tubes are present which are having semi-permeable lining. And all these tubes are suspended in where? All these tubes are suspended in a tank which is filled with dialyzing fluid. And this dialyzing fluid is a liquid which is having same or equal osmotic pressure with that of the patient's blood. Initially, the patient's blood's osmotic pressure is measured, then accordingly the dialyzing fluid also is prepared so that it will have the same osmotic pressure to that of the blood. But it is devoid of nitrogenous wastes. So everything is same. The dialyzing fluid, it is having same osmotic pressure. But what it doesn't contain? It doesn't contain nitrogenous waste materials. So when the patient's blood, patient means the person in whom the kidneys are impaired from their function. From that person, if the blood is taken out and is just allowed to pass through these tubes which are present in a tank that is filled with the dialyzing fluid, and what will happen? As these tubes are having semi-permeable lining, automatically the nitrogenous waste materials will move from their higher concentration to their lower concentration. So, in the dialyzing fluid, there are no nitrogenous wastes. So, there is zero concentration. In blood, there is some amount of nitrogenous waste material. So, obviously, inside the blood, there is higher concentration of nitrogenous waste materials. One is always greater than zero. Likewise, when into the area where there is nothing, from the area where there is something, this something is moving out. This process, what we are calling as diffusion. So the nitrogenous waste materials are passed out through the semi-permeable lining of the tubes into dialyzing fluid as the blood is allowed to pass through these tubes. So from one end, the patient's blood is taken out, and from another end, again, the filtered out blood is given back to the person's body. This is how the dialysis is taking place, and the patient's blood is filtered from this nitrogenous waste materials. Okay, and we all have already learnt kidneys also carry out the same function. They filter out the nitrogenous waste materials. But while carrying out the filtration process, especially while making the urine, three events take place in the kidneys. They are filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. By each and every functional unit of the kidney, three events take place during the urine formation. They are filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. Here only filtration is taking place, and the other things, reabsorption and secretion. Of course, secretion means throwing into dialyzing fluid, that is taking place, but reabsorption is not taking place. So, which particular event of a normal kidney functions are missing from artificial kidney? That is reabsorption. Reabsorption doesn't occur. There is no reabsorption by artificial kidney. And every day during the process of making urine, the first event, initial filtration. By initial filtration, in a 24 hours of time, around 180 liters of initial filtrate, is formed. But every person urinates only 1 to 2 liters of urine, because the remaining around 178 to 179 liters of the initial filtrate is reabsorbed in the normally functioning kidneys. Okay. Now coming to excretion in plants. In class 9th itself we have learned that the complexity of structural organization in plants is far lesser than the complexity of structural organization in animals. So, plants, even though whatever the plants it may be, fully developed plants which we call angiosperms, even angiosperms also do not have any special excretory system in order to get rid of the excretory products from their plant bodies. So, how the plants can get rid of various excretory materials or waste products? In a photosynthetic process, plants consume carbon dioxide and release oxygen. So, oxygen, it is a waste product for plants during photosynthetic process. Of course, it can be utilized by the plants for their respiration, but during the daytime, photosynthesis is the major event. So, respiration is very less. So, whatever the oxygen that is released by the photosynthesis, it is completely released out through stomata. In the same manner, CO2 is released by plants during their respiration. Carbon dioxide is released by plants during their respiration. Okay, during the daytime, whatever the low rate of respiration is carried out, because during the daytime, photosynthesis is the major event and respiration is very minor event. So, the rate of respiration is very low during the daytime in plants. So, whatever the amount of carbon dioxide that is released by the plants during the respiration in the daytime, it is directly absorbed by the plants. But first of all, it is released through stomata, then it is later absorbed by the plants. And during the night time, respiration is the major event and no CO2 absorption takes place. And the released CO2 by the respiratory process, it is released out through stomata. And plants absorb large volumes of water through their roots, and they cannot use entire water, only very less amount of water they use. And excess amount of water, it is removed out from the plant body by the process known as transpiration. What is transpiration? Removal of excess amount of water through aerial parts of the plant body in the form of vapor is known as transpiration. So, excess water is removed from the plant body by transpiration process. Next, other waste materials, they are stored sometimes, they are released into the soil through their roots sometimes, and where they are stored, and if they are stored, how the plants can get rid of those waste materials, how the plants can get rid of those waste materials. Plants can get rid of the waste materials especially by various processes, because there is no specific excretory process. In large plants, most of the tissues are dead tissues. That means they contain dead cells. Before the cell is becoming dead, when it is about to turn into dead, the waste materials are stored in those dead cells. And the dead cells, slowly they will keep getting shut off from the plant body, slowly, gradually. Okay, in that way, the waste materials also can be removed from the plant body. And we all might have observed that in most of the deciduous plants, during the autumn season, the leaves will get shed off. So, which leaves will get shed off? The mature and old leaves. Matured and old leaves. The plants store certain waste materials in such leaves, in their vacuoles especially. Vacuoles are the storage area of the waste materials. In class 9 we have learned that vacuoles store the waste materials in the form of cell sap. And such vacuoles containing cells, they are present within the leaves. These leaves will get shed off from the plant body so that the waste materials are also thrown out from the plant body. And the waste materials can be stored in the form of resins and gums in the old xylem. Old xylem means previously it was used, now it is not under use. And sometimes we might have observed that if a neem tree is just given some injury by cutting and all, it will release out some gum. That gum is nothing but this waste material only. Okay, gums and resins, okay, are nothing but the wastes regarding which we learn in the form of secondary metabolites. Secondary metabolites in class 11th we will learn. Okay, right? So waste products can be stored in the form of resins and gums in the old xylem. And already we have discussed that some waste materials of the plants are released out into the surrounding soil through the root cells. This is how the excretion is carried out in the plants. Okay, and let us discuss about the exercises of this entire chapter. Okay, which are present at the end of this chapter in the next session. Thank you.